Hey, good evening, friends. Today is Thursday, August the 29th, 2024, and the time now is 6:13 p.m. So, welcome to the TNVTS channel. Now, I haven't posted videos for a long time, so I am just getting back into it, and that is because I have been focusing on other projects. So, I do have another channel that I was working on to get to a certain level before continuing with the TNVTS channel. Now, TNVTS, we've been on a break because now it is rainy season and we are getting ready. Hopefully, we can raise some funds so that we can begin construction in December or in January of next year, 2024. So today I am shooting a new video or talk or program, however you want to say it. This is the beginning of a new series. It is known as the ARTA series. It stands for Education Related Trends and Headlines. Once again, the ARTA series. 1. ARTA stands for Educated Related Trends and Headlines. In this case, I am working on North America. The first series is of North America. In this series, the ARTA series, I'm going to be highlighting news relating to education, classroom, the school environment, or learning, period, in various regions around the world. However, instead of doing different countries like I am doing on my other channel, I am going to be doing the ARTA series by continent. So in this case, this first video is for the ARTA series for North America, and it focuses on the United States. Now, the topic for this talk or program or video, however you want to say it, is that relating to California. The state of California, the legislature basically passed a law restricting the use of cell phones in the classroom or in the school environment during school hours. It is very interesting looking at sources or articles out there. However, what I'm getting from the articles, there seems to be suspicion in these articles. Also, these articles are articles written by professional journalists. You can tell the articles when written by a person who is a teacher or a person who is an educator, however you want to say it. Now, a person can be a teacher because they're in the classroom. A person can be an educator because they are doing other things in the school building, not only teaching. They could be nurses, they could be paraprofessionals or whatsoever. So yesterday, Wednesday, the state of California passed the law restricting the use of cell phones or smartphones. Now, what it is saying is that the school districts will have to basically devise their own policies for cell phones or the use of cell phones. And the schools will have to enforce the rules. This means that students will come to school, they can either put their phones away in some pouch or pouches that may sometimes be kept in the front of the class or by the teacher's desk, or the students have to put it away in their lockers or wheresoever. Knowing the time and the world in which we are living, students are not just going to put their cell phones in the lockers and just leave it there. No. Many of these young kids will say, I'm going to keep it in my backpack, and they are still going to bring it out in the classroom. But it is interesting that what is being said about this law that was passed, it seems to be putting everything on the teachers or on the schools or districts. Whether we are talking about the enforcement of the rules or devising the policy or policies, I think in this case we have a good intention, but an intention that is not being well thought of, which could backfire. Because if you are going to pass a law for cell phones, smartphones to be banned in school, you as a country or as a state in this case will have to formulate rules and regulation that says this is a statewide policy. If students do this, that means that they are in trouble with the school, and they are also in trouble with the district and or the state. Because by coming out with a law and then telling the school, hey, you create your policy and you enforce it, I think it's a problem for the school. It is going to create a problem. And also, I believe that if this is going to be the case, perhaps California may want to even create a position in their education system for somebody or a specific office in the schools that is responsible for collecting phones and making sure that phones are away. Because right now with this law, it is forcing teachers, I do believe, it is going to force teachers to want to enforce these laws. And then you're going to have situations when teachers are going to be feeling like they are being disrespected, not being listened to, and all these sort of things. The rule itself, the law, is basically putting exception, which is students may have their phones out whenever they are doing individual work or for medical reason. But then the articles and myself question the whole idea of what a medical reason is, and also what is individual work means. Because a student can say, I am doing my work, and they are actually texting. Perhaps if this is the case, then California may want to actually have computers in every school district for every student, so that students will be required to do all their works on their computers and stay away from the cell phones during school hours. But again, I do feel as if California has a long way to go. Yes, California is now the fifth state to pass a law restricting the use of cell phones in the classroom or schools during school hours. However, it is not enough to pass a law as a state and then telling the school, hey, you implement it. Now, of course, the fact that the law was passed as a state, it makes it easier. There is no doubt that the schools in California and much of the United States and much of the world want policies to restrict the use of cell phones in the classrooms and in the school environment during class hours or during school hours. However, it becomes very difficult for the individual schools and teachers and districts to enforce it, because then you might get a lawsuit, you might get this, that, you might get that, this, and you have to deal with a whole lot of things. So the fact that the state of California is sanctioning or restricting cell phone use, it helps the school, because in this case, the individual teachers, the individual schools and districts can point to the state mandate that this is what we are required by law, or this is what we can do. However, I feel as if the state will have to come up with its own incentives and its own penalty for the use of cell phones. Because the use of cell phones in the classrooms, whether we are talking about in the US, in Europe, and parts around the world, it is chronic among young people. The comedian Kelvin Hart, in reference to his son, he did make a joke when he said that taking away a child's or a kid's cell phone is a problem. It is detrimental to them. Like they go off. Therefore, if your own child can go nuts because you take away his or her cell phone, just imagine someone else's child who was just your student. So I do feel as if the states might want to come up with both an incentive or incentives as well as penalty for the violation of the restriction of cell phone in California's classrooms and school environment. Perhaps the state can also become very skilled, strategic in, look, you have Silicon Valley in California. Perhaps talk to one of these tech guys. Let them come up with some jammers, some system that you can jam all website that is not school related. Because what a lot of students are doing is basically playing games and doing a whole lot of things on their cell phone. So if you cannot take away the cell phones, perhaps you can jam what they are doing. You can jam their internet, jam the sites that students usually frequented. In this case, you do not have to take away students' cell phones. They can keep it, but the cell phones will be inactive during certain time during the school hours. Because so far, a lot of the students are complaining. In one of the articles, some students are talking about the fact that it is much of a stretch trying to require them to put away their cell phones, trying to have them lose access to their cell phones. No matter what you do as a teacher, as a school, as a district, or as a country, students, young people are always going to find faults. They're always going to find a reason to resist or to fight back, to counter what you're trying to do. Perhaps be strategic, be skillful in going at them without going at them. Now, my friends, I don't know what you think, but I really want to hear what you think. So please join the conversation. Tell me what you think. But I want to thank you for being a member of the TNVTTS community, and I want to thank you for watching the TNVTTS channel. Peace.